It's the 8th round of the FIDE Grand Swiss, and the defending champion Vidit Gujrathi makes his way to the board. He has had a couple of amazing rounds and he has moved on to 5 points out of 7 in the shouting distance of reaching the leaders. There we see Anish Giri moving around with a smile on his face, Vidit meditating, all very normal things happening here. Vidit hasn't been having the best of years in 2025, hasn't played much classical chess, but this tournament might be the one where he breaks through. And there we have Vincent Keymer coming in, who is in top shape, winning the Chennai Grand Masters, reaching 2750, entering the top 10 in the world. In terms of style, both of them have a kind of similar way of playing where they are, they understand where the pieces belong, positionally very, very strong. And I think it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top today. It will be a positional battle, is my understanding here. Vincent versus Vidit. What a clash. We have a handshake here and off we go. Vincent opens the game with pawn to e4. And Vincent is someone who has been playing e4 only recently. Like he was maybe a d4, c4 and knight f3 player before that. And so he's trying to expand his repertoire. The knight comes out to f3. And Vidit brings his knight to c6. And Vincent goes for the Ruy Lopez with bishop to b5. We have knight f6 played here, attacking the pawn on e4. Pawn to d3 played. And bishop c5, which is the anti-Berlin that has been played with d3. And Vincent takes on c6, d takes c6. Clearly taking here isn't a good idea because of queen d4. So castles, and now the e5 pawn is hanging. You have a few ways to defend it. bd6, bg4. Vidit goes for knight d7 approach. A knight comes to d2. Putting the knight on c4, pressurizing e5. Pawn to a5 played. And now the knight comes in to c4. Attacking here on the e5 point. Queen comes to e7. This line is something that Vidit has played so many times. He's very, very good at it. This anti-Berlin stuff from black side. Meanwhile, Vincent's preparation looks top-notch. He has 1 hour 44 minutes and keeps blitzing out his moves. a4 played. b6 now by Vidit, trying to get his bishop out from a6 to put pressure here on the knight. And one of the ideas here is to go knight e3 with the idea of knight to f5. Yes, he plays knight e3. And if you go g6, it does weaken few squares, threaten c3, d4. So you have to be careful as with it. And I think one plan could very well be to just chop off the knight. That's what he does. Bishop takes e3 taken. And now rook takes e3 is possible. But bishop e3 makes a lot of sense, yeah, to develop your bishop. And now pawn to c5, kind of stopping white's d4. Knight comes to d2, preparing the f4 break if it's possible. Or maybe just knight f1, knight g3. He goes b3, stopping any potential c4 ideas. Queen comes to e6, knight f1 played. The knight will go to g3 here. And queen to g6. Knight comes to g3 now, defending the f5 square, and pawn comes up to f5. He takes, e takes f5. And rook takes on f5 here. Very interesting move because you can't take the rook. This is attacked, and I think with its decision to play f5 was quite brave, because while he gets activity, the e5 pawn is now isolated, the e4 square is an outpost. Vidit now has to remain a bit careful because queen g4 is a positional threat. He goes queen c6, attacking here, and f3 played. The rook now has to move away, rook to f6. I love how Vincent has positionally calmly played this bd2, and now rook g6 attacking here. So the knight can jump to e4, but king h2, he's keeping that option open. He's keeping the attack on the e5 pawn. Queen comes to d6, maybe with the idea of e4. Rook e3, h5. Vidit playing this aggressive chess here. If knight h5, you have e4. So that's why knight to e4 played. And now he chops off the knight. But Vincent's advantage gets real here. F takes e4 played. And rook to f8. Maybe rook f3. He's trading one pair of rooks. Positionally, white is clearly better here. But black does have certain trump cards, which is this kind of advanced pawn. The king is a little weak perhaps on h2. Queen takes f3. And now a very important move to go knight f8, knight e6, knight f4. Yes, he plays it. Knight f8 on the board. Now queen h5 could be an idea, but he goes rook c1. An absolutely stunning move. I don't even understand the logic behind this move. Why did Vincent play rook c1? Knight e6. I think there's something that he's missed. Queen h5. Maybe when the knight comes to d4, he didn't want the c2 pawn to be hanging, but now knight f4 takes, pawn takes, and you can't take on h4 just yet. f3 check could be nasty, so that's why e5 played. Queen c6 threatening a mate here on g2. Rook comes to g1, and can Vidit play rook g3, which is a nice move. He finds it, because if queen takes h4 now, yeah, he takes it. That's the point. And Vidit has his move ready. g5. These last few moves have been incredibly active and accurate by Vidit. Queen h5. King comes up to g7. And now pawn to h4 played. He goes queen g6 here. Queen takes on g6. King takes on g6. And we have reached an equal position. This would be a great result for Vidit if he manages to hold on to a draw. E-pawn is running ahead. G takes h4 is possible. He goes rook e3 first. h5 check. And Vidit takes it. King takes h5. And rook takes e3. You take here. If you come king g3, you're losing after g4. So that's why king g1 is important. He plays king to g1. King g6 with the idea of king f5, king e5. And king to f1. He's coming in here. This pawn endgame can get very intense because there are a lot of possibilities. The pawn structure is slightly different here. King f5, he comes king e2. And now Vidit takes, king takes e5 and king e3. We've crossed 40 moves, so both players have extra 50 minutes on the clock. Vidit goes to the washroom, I guess, because he will need a lot of time to think here. He comes back with 47 minutes on the clock here and plays c6 after 24 minutes of thought. Makes a huge mistake, and look at Vincent's expression. He's like, wasn't this a blunder? Didn't I calculate it to a win for myself? And my God, he's calculating. In fact, the only defensive move for Vidit was king d5. And that was a draw. To understand that the king race here is okay for black is the key thing that Vidit had to calculate. But instead he went c6, and for Vincent it's a moment of disbelief. It's like maybe he'll get the win here now. Look at him calculating there. He goes pawn to c4. Excellent move by Vincent. And this is the winning move. Now it's game over for Vidit. King f5. The thing to note here, by the way, is that if king d5 you had played instead of c6 and then c4 and then the same position, black is the one who's winning. It's all about opposition now. King f3, king f6, Vincent's king comes up. King e6, and now not to rush in with g4, that would be a draw, but g3, forcing him to lose a move, king f6, and now g4. Vincent has calculated this all precisely and beautifully. King e6, and now d4. d5 is a big threat, because after take, and if you go this way, then of course I can take and go king f5. So you need to go king f6 with it, or you take, pawn takes pawn, king takes, and now the threat is c5. And if you play c5, king e4, if you go this side, I go this side. If you go this side, I go this side. So Vidit goes king d6. But now Vincent is winning. c5 played. The pawn endgame is gone. Takes king c4, and Vidit knows now that it's all over. Well, it was quite a close call for Vidit there. He could have drawn that game had he found king d5, but he wasn't able to, and now it's all over. I think for Vincent, he's calculated it. Now last move to be accurate, to play b4 so that your a pawn can start running. Yes, he finds it. You can bank on Vincent to find everything here. A b4, king b4, and king takes g4. Now the a pawn is cruising through. And Vidit is a bit unfortunate in the sense that he's left with the g pawn now. Like if it was, let's say, an h pawn, perhaps there were more drawing chances, or a bishop pawn. But a g pawn in this endgame, where a queen versus a pawn that has reached the 7th rank, is generally winning for white. So queen, g2, queen a7, and now king comes to h2, but queen f2 is the move here. And yeah, it's over, because king h1, I'll go check, force your king in front of the pawn, and then slowly bring my king closer. And there's nothing much to play for here. It's all standard stuff for these top players, and Vidit will have to resign. Well, quite unfortunate there. He was very close to a draw, and there you see they actually sat down and analyzed for a lot of time here. And Vincent's just saying you could go to the queen side and take these pawns. This endgame was very instructive. There are many little nuances, but for a top player like Vidit, with 45 minutes on the clock, it was definitely something that he could calculate it out. And Vincent, well, he had it all seen, and he actually came to the interview after the game, and he explained this pawn endgame to us, which is what we will put at the end of this video, so that you can understand this endgame much better and also analyze it for yourself, because I think it was a very instructive one in terms of opposition, usage of tempo, and many other concepts that are important in pawn endgames.
Hi.
Good to see you, Vincent. Congratulations for your win.
Thank you a lot. Yeah, it was quite a difficult game, but pawn endgames are tough, even for such strong players as Vidit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Vincent, if it's been a very long day. There's only one thing that I want to learn from you today. And I was commentating and I saw your expressions. You understood so quickly that you were winning in that end
Oh,
game.
the thing is that, like, I obviously started calculating also when he took some time, and I was not sure about king d5. Like, king d5 was the move I was calculating, because I was entirely sure that both c6 and king f5 are losing pretty easily. And that's why I was also, like, at first I thought, okay, he will play king d5 after 10 minutes, and I think it is a draw. But once he started thinking for longer, I was suddenly getting my hopes up that if you spend so much time, usually there's something he doesn't see. Because again, I wasn't sure whether king d5 is a draw, but I think it's quite easy to calculate that c6 and king f5 are losing, and then there are simply no other options than to go king d5. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he missed.
Did he speak? Did you guys speak after the game? Like
Yeah, we
what?
spoke a little, but I think his reason was that he kind of missed it after king d5, king f3, king d4 is a draw, that he can go for this race. But yeah, so I think but it's okay. Like king g5, king c2, and okay, and let's say g4, and I think now both king d3 and king b3 work. Like king b3 is actually a crazy line. I only saw king b3 during the game. Let's say king f4, b5, g5, ba. Oh, no, I shouldn't take. I should go g5.
G5,
Yeah, like
BA.
g6, a3, g7, a2, and I actually promote with check.
Oh, it's a
But after
check.
king b2, yeah, but it's not enough. King b2, and it's still a draw.
Wow.
That's crazy. It's because normally I would get my queen to b4 and then force the king to a1,
Right.
but here I don't have that check on b4. I also don't have a check on b5 because my pawn on d3 is blocking my own check. So it's really crazy that this is just a draw. I have no way of advancing here. And maybe this is what he missed, but I think king d3 is probably an even easier draw, but that's also something I missed during the game. So yeah, king d5, c3 also is still continuing instead of king f3, but yeah, again, I think.
So
Yeah,
in general, king d5, it's only about the race that he missed here. And in c6 line, is there some kind of particular reason? I mean, it's just pure calculation, right? There's no
Yeah.
strategy, nothing like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think also c4. I think I don't need to play g3, g4. I think I can also go d4 immediately.
Yes.
It also seemed winning. Like that's the only reason why I started thinking was that I think he placed the king on e6. Yeah, like king f.
No, he played king f5. You went king f3.
No, I meant king f3. Yeah, king f6, king e4, king e6, and I thought maybe here I can go d4 directly.
That's
if I
also
want.
winning. Yes.
Yeah, the thing is that at first, in my calculation from previously, I only thought about g3, g4, then d4, and then suddenly I saw that I can also play d4 immediately, and I started calculating which one is winning, and I came to the conclusion that probably both are winning. So I just stuck with the line I originally calculated, and yeah, I don't know what he missed. I mean, maybe something we should show is like, okay, like in the game, if he goes, king f6, g4, king e6, d4, take. I mean, this is the key position. Yeah, like if he could play king e6 now instead of like if
Then
the king
c5.
wasn't on e6 but on f6, then it would be a draw. Yeah, with king on f6, he can go king e6 and the position is a draw. So if it's my move here, it's a draw, but he cannot pause. And king
yes,
f6.
yes, because king e6, c5, there's b5, right?
Yeah, but here c5, b5, I have b4. Yeah,
Exactly.
This is the crushing idea that's winning the game, and yeah, it's
And
these
having
are the
the
kind of
king
videos
on e6 would mean that b4 means take, and then perhaps your king comes in time, yeah, to stop the pawn.
Yeah, or you can also take ba. I think both are fine.
Right, got it. Wow, this was really an amazing king and pawn endgame, because generally in this time control, when you reach such a position, and we have the engine here, and there's only one move which shows as draw, we generally think like, okay, it will be found because there are 50 minutes, but
yeah, I also thought so.
It didn't happen that way. Vincent, it seems like the tournament is opening up now, and you are back in with a huge chance, because 6 points are 2 leaders. You are on 5.5. Are you feeling very positive after this win?
Yeah, it's becoming better. Like my first 4 rounds were really shaky. Then the fifth game, I lost in a quite bad manner. Like basically a drawn bishop endgame, which already
Yes.
kind of was a fortress, and I messed it up myself. So really unfortunate. But I don't know. I didn't like. I could kind of make my peace with it because before I got lucky a lot, and I was struggling. I had bad positions which I survived, and also draw equal positions which I managed to win. So this was like a shaky time, and I feel like last few rounds I've been playing better. And of course, now winning this game is very important. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking to keep my 100% score as white and probably try to play a bit better as black, and then maybe there are some chances left.
Wow, you have 100% score as white. Oh, you beat Jeong, Friedrich Swana, Hohanisian, and oh my god, amazing, amazing. And I think at some point in this event, because there are 3 rounds left, you may have to push with black pieces to in order to reach the top.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying already, but simply the players we are playing are good and well prepared, so
True.
it's really tough. But of course, now I mean, being on +3 next game, I will have to try. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that means, like how much risk I will have to take. But I mean, I will see the pairings, I will call Peter, and then we will see what's necessary.
Yeah, I guess 2.5 points or sometimes even 2 points could do the trick. But Vincent, thank you for joining us and explaining this king and pawn endgame. I think it was one of the most critical endgames of this entire tournament. So, congratulations to you.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye. See you.